Hi everybody, Kat's from Creative Crafts here, and today's DIY is going to be a short one, maybe, hope, we'll see. We're making coasters, and things that you're going to need for these coasters are, of course, the coasters. I have the Cricut. You need some kind of a heat transfer paper or roll like I have here. I bought it in a big roll. It's heat transfer paper, which you need to transfer it with a iron or with something like this. I think it's so cute. It's from Cricut. It's a little iron. It's hotter than an iron. If you use a conventional iron, you're going to need to let it sit a little bit longer than you would if you used the Cricut iron, because the Cricut iron is double the heat. But anyway, you can still use a regular iron. You don't need to go out and buy all this fancy stuff. The same thing goes for the lettering that you want to make for these. You don't really need to have a Cricut. It does help. It makes it so much easier with the Cricut. But if you don't have one, you don't have to worry. You can still use the roll. Just get, something like this and tape the roll onto it with a piece of tape, and then get a stencil, a normal stencil, and then the lettering that you want with it. You can print it out on paper first, on a cardboard paper, and then cut it out and then use that as a stencil. You can make your own stencil if you have a printer. That's the only way that I can say how you can do this. I have many videos how you can make your own stencils or how you can make your own lettering on my YouTube channel here. Please check it out. I'll probably add it onto this video so you can actually see it, that it's on there with it. And I'll attach it so if you don't have a Cricut, how you can do it. Because I know not everybody can afford a Cricut. And if you want to do something like this, you're going to need the conventional ways of doing it where it's cheaper for you. And that's how I did it at first too. And you will see how you can do it too on your own without using the Cricut. Like I said, check out that video. So other things you're going to need, like I said, you need the heat transfer. You're going to need this. You're going to need the sticker for the Cricut. Or you need something like this where when you cut it with those special little knives. I forgot the name, what you call it. It's been here in Germany too long. So now how we're going to do this. We'll go to that very first step. The first step is actually, getting everything prepared, and you measure. If you're going to use the Cricut, please measure the coaster that you're using. Like you see here, you have to measure it first so that you can actually go on to the program that you have on your computer. You can also use it on your iPad if you want. I don't have it on my iPad at the moment. I should put it on there because that, you can use several different Cricuts at the same time if you do. But that is for another program, another video. So the next step is, like I said, first step is measuring this, making sure you have everything that you need. And then we'll go to the next step. So the next step is actually going on to your program. It's the Cricut Design Space program that I use. And I put all the lettering that, the wording that I want to have, the sayings. How I did that is, what you do first is I took a circle and made it the size that I need for it. Of course, you make it white so you can see better. And then what I did is I put it to the back. So, and then I took my text, made my text and wrote it. I took the apple from the images that we have here on the Cricut Design Space. On here, you can get a lot of stuff for free, but the major of the stuff you have to pay for it if you want it. But if you become a member, it's not very expensive to become a member for this program. And once you become a member, basically almost everything on here is for free So anything that you need. And there's so many other websites out there that you can get different fonts that you want. You don't need this program. If you're going to use a printer and make your own stencil, you can actually use the normal Word or whatever program that you use when you do writing. What you do is, like I said, this is how you can tell that you know it's going to fit exactly into the circle that you see here. What I have here, that you see that it fits. I make sure that it fit in everything perfectly. And then once you got everything there that you want, how you want, and what size kind of fonts, you can delete the circle because you don't need it there anymore. And that was just for a guide to make sure that you make it big enough to fit onto the coaster that you need. That's how you do it if you want to make heat transfer, or even with the normal vinyl stuff. This is how you can make sure that you make it to the size that you need. And that's how you do it. I'm not perfect at this still because I'm still new at doing Cricut, but I love the program so far. I've done so many things already, and just playing around. I haven't made any videos. This is my second video on how to do this. I made changed a corks, one of your corks for wine bottles. It was like a holder. You put stuff inside it. It's a cute little thing. It didn't look nice at all. As you can see, it's from this here. I changed that into a money changing thing. You can still use it for corks if you want, but I made it for other stuff like birthdays, or if you're going on vacation, or Christmas and stuff like that. So many different things. And that video is also on the YouTube. Check that one out. And this is all you need. And you need to make sure the machine is on. And now the third step is actually putting the vinyl onto the Cricut pad here that you need. I have to put it on here. Make sure it's fast. I will show you how you can do that. That is the next step. So, of course, the next step is, how do you want to do it? I usually use the side where the numbers are very small, because when you go into print mode, when you go into make it, you'll see that the numbers are like this and not the big way. This is inches and this is centimeters or millimeters. Anyway, I do it like this, and I go the long ways because this is the top part here. And as you can see, I'm working with one hand because I'm holding my phone, because I can't find my holder for the phone to make the video. Can you believe that? So anyway, I'm going to put this on and I will show you exactly how it's supposed to look. So first, what I'm going to do is going to press the button we hear way up top and say make it. And you see this going on here. You see it's checking for everything. And it puts on several different pages. As you can see here, it's 2 pages. My pad is just as big as this here. Like I told you, the number is small up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this, and I'm going to move these over because I don't want to use actually so much. What I'm going to do is take this part here and say move the object, and you pick the one that you want to change it to, and you can move it there. And what happens is it goes there, and then you can, I want to try to save as much space as possible because I don't like to waste. As you can see, that my YouTube channel is about recycling and conserving. And this is how you can conserve this. This how you see how it is. I want to use this whole top part here only. I don't know why the program doesn't make it all on one page. I don't understand it, but that's how it is. Maybe it's something that I have on the program. I don't know. But anyway, this is how I'm going to do it, like this. And you can see now that I got pretty much the whole page, and it goes down to here, number 17, as you can see where I have my mouse. And that's how I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this where number 17 is. I'm just maybe go down to 18 or 19 maybe, and then cut it, because I don't want to waste any paper, because it costs too much to waste the money too. And like here, I have extras here from it. I cut it off after I used, there was so much extra on it when I printed it out, so I just cut it off. Because you can reuse this. This is heat transfer paper, so the only way it sticks to stuff is if you use heat. So I decided to save it on the side, whatever extra I have, so I don't want to throw it away. I always say recycle, 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 and save. That's a new word, save. Try to save as much material as you can when you do your projects. You can always use it for other stuff. I'm going to probably make a video coming up about all the little things you can do to save garbage or waste. So, you know, when it comes to paper stuff and everything, what you can do with this stuff, how you can save the waste that you have so you don't have so much stuff throwing away. So anyway, now I'm going to cut this to the size that I need, and then we're going to go to the next step. So I cut it, everybody, and the next step is actually this. You use this and you roll this out to make sure there's no air bubbles in it, because it cuts much, much better if you do it that way. So make sure once you get the paper on the size that you need, roll it out with this piece here, and then you're ready to print. So everybody, before you actually continue cutting this out, you're going to make sure you put it on the mirror. You see this part here? Make sure that it's on mirror, because when you're doing it this way, it's very important that you have the mirror effect on, because you're cutting the paper opposite somehow, so that you can turn it. You have to turn it around, and then it's correct. I'll show you when we do the next step. So now make sure you do it that way, and then you can press continue. So everybody, I forgot to tell you one important thing is when you put the paper on here, as you can see, one side is shiny and one side is not. The shiny side needs to be when you're using the Cricut, and also when you're cutting it out. You have to make sure that the matte side is facing downwards when you're doing that. Like I said, you have to do it backwards, kind of, if you're doing it with the stencils, so that you can like have the mirror effect. You have to do the same method when you're working with the stencil too. So now that I got this on here, I can stick this in my Cricut machine. They have guidelines here, and then you have to make sure that, you know, if it's sticking up like this here, then I'm going to have to put some tape there on the end, because the end parts of this here is not sticky. So I'm going to have to put some tape on it, and then we'll go cut it out. All right, so now I taped it. The reason why I taped it is because if that lifts up when it's going through here, like I'll show you in a minute, I will go continue. Here it says continue. Of course, it's checking to see if my machine is on. Make sure it's on. And then you can pick out your paper. I have it already pre-sampled, but you can always go to browse and look for the one that you have. I have this heat transfer paper, which is not Cricut. So I click on this here. And then it says default. Here, I always put it on more, so it cuts really well. And then after you press that, you're going to see the light going on here, and you're going to need to press that. And this is what I'm talking about. You see how it went in? If that was sticking up, that paper would have bent, and that wouldn't work out well either. You see how just this would happen here? This is what I'm talking about. This is what you don't want happening. You can also use tape here on the ends. I don't really need it now. It was just measuring which pad I have on here, but when it's cutting, it won't go all the way down here. It won't do that. So, but make sure if it sticks up like this, you can put tape on it, but for this end, I don't need it, but the top part, you really do need it. So now it's saying, okay, it measured it, it's ready. You press the play button, shows like the arrow button, then it starts cutting. It's going to take a little while for it to go through, cut through, because there's so many different font sizes. And this is what the Cricut does. Does so many other different things too. But I will get to that part. We'll wait for this to get done. And then I'll show you what we do on the next step. So everybody, it's finished printing out. As you can see, one thing I don't like very much, you can see barely where it cut, but it did. At first I thought it didn't cut. I was really upset, so I went through it again. And of course, I forgot to mirror it so that it was doubled in 2 different sizes. Don't fret if you think that it didn't print out or cut out. It did. Let's see how it did. So everybody, with this, you're going to need your picking tool for this. And how you're going to do it is you're going to have to pick it up. Let me see if I can put my phone in a place where you can actually see what I'm doing. So everybody, this is what we're going to do. Let me make sure I can see. First, you're going to take it, and you can see that it's lifting up from the plastic. I do suggest that you do it very slowly, because if you don't, you see how it's lifting up here? You have to do it slowly, or you're going to end up taking letters with you. And you need your little guide here. I'm going to stick this bottle of water on top of it so I can actually show you, so it doesn't lift up on the other side. I use this pin tool to underneath the letter really close and lift. This is how I do it. Lift, lift. Because if you do pull it really hard upwards, it's going to rip the letters with it that you have there. And you don't want to have that. So I'm going to go across all here and do this whole thing. It's going to take me a while to do it. Just wanted to show you how you can peel it off. It is a little bit of work, yes. But I find it very fulfilling when I finally do get this piece off. And I can iron on the symbols or letters or whatever you want. You can use it for t-shirts. I don't have a t-shirt presser, which you can use a normal conventional iron, like I said, but it doesn't get as hot as the little Cricut iron that I have that is specially made for heat transfer vinyl. And if you want to have something like this, I do suggest to get that. I mean, they have other irons. You don't have to get the Cricut one. I mean, the Cricut one, of course, like everyone says, it's a name. And it, of course, it's going to cost a little bit more. But I do suggest you can look into other irons that have the same method, that gets hotter than a normal iron. I do suggest that you look into that too. So let me get this off, and then we go to the next step. Okay, everybody, I got it all off, as you can see here, as it rolls up. Don't worry about that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in sections exactly. You don't cut them all apart. You just cut up each saying that you wrote. Make sure that you keep it all in one piece. Do not cut them separate, everything. Just cut the saying out how you put it. If you want, you can also save this heat transfer plastic if you want. and you see that there is some extra pieces on the heat transfer paper here. There's so much pieces extra. You can cut these off and put it back on here, but don't forget the shiny part sticks to this part if you want to put it back on there to save some, because that's what I do all the time. I don't want to throw all that away, so I always do it like that. So now what you're going to do is you're going to cut off any excess off. As you can see here, there are still some pieces that need to be taken care of. And that's when you come and take your little, I don't know what you want to call this, pick tool. And you try to gently lift up the pieces that don't belong there. And you can put it in your, I got this here. It's extra for, you know, when I want to do some work. You know, I take this stuff off. You have to be very gentle when it comes to some of these things. You don't want to pick off any of the other letters from there. You see the D, I took out the parts that needed to be taken out. You know, the areas that need to be, you can see here that needs to be taken out. You use your little pick here and you gently lift it up wherever you can. Get it off. Some of it's easy, sometimes not. Sometimes it's so small that you can't take it off with a little bit of a struggle. Like this little piece here. This little, see how tiny that is? You need good lighting, definitely on that part. If you don't have a good lighting, it'll be very difficult to see what you're doing. But you need to do this to every piece that has the extra, you know, like the E's or the A's and the little gaps that you see that need to be clear. It doesn't need to have a filling in it. You need to take those all off of everything that you see here. You see the O and everything. Oh, the G here, the G. That is a G. It doesn't look like a G, but because of the paper on it. But when you take it off, you see that it's a G now. And you have to go through all of them and take all that off with this little pick. And then the next step comes when you need to use the little iron. And that's the step we'll go next. So everybody, I just found a problem here where the word gold is here. The O is missing. That is just the middle part of it. So that's why I said you don't throw this piece away. You have now I have to look around and I found it. And there's the O. So now I have to go here. It's not sticky paper here. That's not a sticky paper. So you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to take this piece off because that's not what I need. And I need to put the O on. The sticky part is the plastic paper here. And what you can do is then you can stick back on there. So it doesn't always go the way you want. And press down with your hand. And now I have the O there. That's why you have to double check everything, every lettering, what you have here. Sometimes it may come with, when you peel it off, it comes with it and it sticks on there. So that's why you have to check all the lettering, make sure they're all there and it's correct. Something like this here should be all right because it's all connected. But when you have separate lettering like this, something like that can happen. So double check before you do anything. The program that I have here, maybe I have to check it and see if I can program it. I wrote in German, and the lettering here has usually 2 dots on top. So, and the same thing goes for, where are you? Which one is it? No, not that one. Where is that? Yeah, here, this one here. And that here has the 2 dots. And that's the reason why I made these extra eyes, so I can use the dots, the extra eyes there. Use the dots for here, because the program, when I wrote in German, there was only a block there. It didn't show that letter that I needed. Don't know why, but it did it. So I had to improvise, and that's how I did it. So now, like I said, double check your wording. Make sure everything is on this piece here, on the lettering the correct way. And then you can use the iron, which is the next step. Hi everybody, I have this little iron. I just turned it on. I'm waiting for it to turn green to let me know that it's ready. And then I can show you what we do. How you do it. So it's ready. So what you can do is you can take whatever ones you want to use, whichever one you want to do first. And I'm just going to cut it as much as possible so that I don't make it melt on the sides. Usually they say you should use parchment paper or something. I use this baking paper to cover it, to protect it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick this one, and you have to make sure that it's even. You can do it by the eye, you can do it with a stent, you can do it with a ruler, you can tape it down, but because it's so small, if it was a t-shirt, a big piece, then you can use heat transfer tape, which is tape especially made so it doesn't melt into the t-shirt. It's for heat. And this is what it basically looks like. I have that too, but I don't use that because it's just, I think, in my opinion, a waste of time. You take your thing, be very careful. It's hot. Make sure you're not working with any small children around. And you put it on that. You don't put too much pressure. On these, you don't have to put pressure. And you let it sit for 30 seconds. You count to 30 seconds and then you can get it. And then after 30 seconds, you go to the next section. Like I said, you don't need to press hard because it's so hot. I just go around, just let it sit for a little bit longer. And then you take the paper off and be very careful when you peel it off, the paper, because it is hot. You can wait a little bit, but I suggest that you do it first. If you see any of the lettering sticking up, you didn't put it on long enough. And then you peel it off, and this is what you have. All done. You can use any color. It comes in many different colors. You can buy it from Amazon. If you can go into a place like Walmart or Dollar Store, we don't have these here. We don't have the luxury of, the Christmas tree shop or Walmart or the Dollar Store. We don't have those here with so many different great things you can buy for a cheap price. So I have to basically buy all my stuff from Amazon. And this is a non-Cricut vinyl heat transfer tape, vinyl. So, but it works great, as you can see. I think it looks great. So we do the next one is the same thing. That's on the side. And you take the next one. You don't have to heat it up. You don't have to do anything special. You just take the next one. Make sure the lettering is all there. And then you go and make sure that it's in the middle. And then you take your iron again, like I said, 30 seconds. And then the next side. And then, like I said, I just go really quickly over one more time, really quick over. And then I put it on this thing here. Don't lay it on anything because that thing is very hot. You have to make sure you put it back in the place where it belongs. And like I said, you see this? You peel it up. Be very careful. It's hot. And if you see any of the lettering lifting up when you're pulling, that means, like I said before, it was not on there long enough. And you need to do it again. And there we go. All things good come in 3. That's what it says. Just want to take off that plastic piece that went on there, that's stuck on there. There we go. And then we have the next one. And we do that to all of them. And then I will show you all of them at the end of the video. So everybody, that is the video for today. This is what we did. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Enjoy my little family. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a big YouTuber. I just do this as a hobby. I try to use conventional stuff. I used to do things always by the printer and cut it with a X-Acto knife. Everything, my lettering on the videos that you looked from in the past at how I did it, I have it on there. Like I said, I will connect it to this video, so how you can do it if you don't have a Cricut. You can do the same thing for this heat transfer tape. The only thing is you need to make a stencil. It's a little bit more work. You need to print out it on cardboard paper, you know, cardstock. Print it out on your printer, and then cut it out with the X-Acto knife, the lettering the way you want it. And then after that, you have to put this over the heat transfer paper and try to cut it out that way if you want. Like I said, it's or you can get printer paper. If you have a printer that can also heat transfer ink on it, you can use that too. It's a lot more work if you end up doing it the conventional way. Like I said, with the Cricut, it's very easy and it's very quick. I do recommend that if you're a hobby person, you like doing stuff like this as stuff for gifts and things, I do recommend that you get a Cricut or something like a Cricut. I like the Cricut. Some people disagree, but I like it. Like all programs, they have bugs in them, and they do end up getting fixed. But I do suggest that you get a Cricut because it's a lot of fun in there. You can do hundreds of different things with a Cricut. You can make so many different things. You can make, like I said, the coasters here, t-shirts, bags. You can make cake toppers, flowers, boxes. The list goes on and on and on. I'm still learning because I'm still new with it, but I will get better. Anyway, that's all for today. And like I said, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.